Hey again everyone, Mox here, answering another question I get asked a heck of a lot. What do I think about this school, or do I recommend this teacher, or should I start training over at that school over there? I understand, choosing a school can be pretty daunting and you don't want to end up somewhere like this.
Does not exist in this dojo, does it? No, Sensei! Defeat does not exist in this dojo, does it? No, Sensei! Prepare! Eight! What do we study here? The way of this, sir! And what is that way? Strike first, strike hard, no mercy, sir! I can't hear you!
Or maybe you do, maybe that's your thing. That's the point though. It really is a very personal decision. What I think is right may not be right for you. You do have to choose very, very carefully though. After all, if you are serious about studying martial arts, then you're going to spend potentially more time with this new teacher than anyone else in your life outside of your family. I suggest people go and try several different schools. See what the culture of the school feels like before you sign up to any sort of commitment. It has to be a mutual feeling. That's my view. You have to feel welcome there and they have to welcome you. Ideally, I feel that in time you may develop a bond with your school, with your teacher. Don't get me wrong, this is not something that you can force, this bond, just because you're training together.
Jones, just because we're holding hands doesn't mean we're going to take warm showers till the wee hours of the morning. You hear me?
Don't go in there on lesson 1 and start coming across as all needy. But in time, if you're lucky, this may come. To guide you in your search for a school, all I can do is share what worked for me, what I found to my satisfaction and eternal gratitude. And it is the story of how I met my Sifu, Sifu Derek Fung. And I think it's timely that I relate this story because it's just about his birthday. I won't say what day it is, so give him some privacy there. But I always think of him, but especially around this time of the year. So let me share with you the story of when I met him, and that may guide you in your own search for a teacher or a school. I've already written this story before and posted it to our Facebook page, but who reads these days? Apparently not that many people. It was back in 1994, and in Sydney, Australia, and I had been training already for a few years in another Wing Chun school. I had trained very hard. I had become an instructor there. I'd also become quite conceited, arrogant, thought I knew a lot about Wing Chun, thought I was pretty good. Then one day in the street, I met a student of the school, someone that I'd been teaching, who hadn't come to class for a while, disappeared. And I stopped him and I said, hey, what's up? Why have you not come to training anymore? And he was kind of embarrassed and didn't want to answer me and was looking away. And he muttered something about, he'd found somewhere else to train, somewhere better. Okay, that was a red flag to a bull. I said, better? You're going to find a better teacher than me? Arrogant me. So I stopped him in the street and I said, come on, show me what you've got. And reluctantly, we just stuck hands. But the moment, and I do mean the moment I touched hands with him, I was astonished by how much it improved. His structure, it just bounced me back straight away. Arrogant me, I was not ready for this. So I said, where have you been training? What have you been doing? He muttered something about training under a student of Mr. Yip Man. And then he gave me a name and an address, and neither of them made any sense to me, didn't ring any bells. So I thought nothing of it and walked away. But I couldn't stop thinking about it. Then in the end, curiosity, or perhaps it was arrogance, got the better of me. And I had to go and find out for myself. So I went to the address, which turned out to be a very nondescript police citizens boys club in Woolloomooloo, Sydney. So I walked into the hall and I was greeted by a very kind looking man with spectacles, warm smile and a twinkle in his eye, just wearing jeans and a t-shirt. He just walked up to me and he said, hello, Derek is my name, and shook my hand warmly. I was not ready for this. Not Sifu Derek or call me master or anything. It just said, my name is Derek. So I gathered myself a bit and arrogantly said something like, "Oh, I'm a Wing Chun instructor and I've been training for a few years, and I heard that he was teaching Wing Chun." At this, Sifu Derek, he smiled even more broadly and he said, "Yes, I'm teaching Wing Chun." And he welcomed me and he said I was welcome to join them if I like. He didn't seem even slightly interested in getting me to sign up or anything else. If I was interested in Wing Chun, come join. Let's train Wing Chun together. I was dumbstruck by this. First, Sifu Derek asked me to go through Siu Lim Tao, and so I did. And about a few seconds into it, he frowned slightly, and then he dropped to the floor on his hands and knees and started adjusting my feet, explaining small details as he did it. Now, that was just too much for me. He was a Wing Chun Sifu, a student of the legendary Mr. Yip Man, and I'm not even his student. I'd said I was training somewhere else, and yet he's on the floor, on his hands and knees, adjusting my dirty sneakers with his hands, just to help me improve my Wing Chun. At that moment, I realized how small I was, how stupid and arrogant everything I thought I knew was. He was a real master with a genuine desire to teach, a real passion to pass on knowledge to others. Needless to say, I learned a heck of a lot that lesson. And at the end, I, this time very nervously, went up to Sifu Derek and asked him, "Is it okay if I come again?" The twinkle was back in his eye, and he smiled and he said, "Of course. Even as the student must choose the teacher must choose the student." Since then, I have been proud to be part of Sifu Derek's Wing Chun family. That is why I started this channel. I want to explain that again now. I don't consider myself to be anything special. I am not his senior student, or definitely not his best student. Nothing at all like that. But this is my small way to try and gain recognition for a man who has dedicated most of his life, nearly all of it. Even today at this age, he still teaches every day because Wing Chun is his passion. I want to see him get the recognition that he deserves. And that is why I make these videos. Now, to those who ask why I don't call it Derek Fung's Wing Chun, well, to me that would be arrogant. I don't claim to represent him. His skill is far, far, far higher than mine. I don't want to drag down his reputation with my own performance. But by the same token, as I said, the focus is on him, so I don't call it my Wing Chun. Many people write me emails saying, "Dear Mr. Nord." Nord is not my name, it's just a name I gave. I had to call the school something. The purpose and the focus is for me to pass on what I have got from him. But I do not claim to be as good as him. All I do is try and train and practice as he taught me. Sifu Derek has taught me a great deal over the years, not just about Wing Chun. He has counseled me often. When I was down, he would see and notice, and sometimes would just sit and drink tea. He'd talk to me about relationship problems, work problems. Aside from all the Wing Chun, I have treasured his counsel at many significant moments in my life. So this was my experience in my search for a teacher. When you go out looking, you're probably going to find many teachers who are going to claim that they can teach you how to fight, teach you how to stay alive. But if you're lucky, like I was, you'll find yourself a teacher that can teach you how to live. I wish you all the best of luck in your search for a teacher. And to my teacher, Sifu Derek, happy birthday, Sifu. Thank you, Sifu.